Alright, what up YouTube? It's me, Gryffinn. I'm here to bring you guys a Kindred guide. So my credentials as Kindred, obviously I'm rank 1 NA. Well, actually I dropped to rank 2 because Tomio got it today, but here are my stats on Kindred. Our challenger, 79% win rate, and obviously on my X rank 1 account, I had 64% win rate on Kindred, both my most played champion, and I think Kindred's in a really strong spot right now, so I'm here to tell you guys about what I think is the best Kindred setup. Here we got the items. People ask me, oh, do you think crit is good? No. Quite frankly, I think crit is pretty dog shit. But I think it's good in some games, but this is what I usually run like basically 100% of my games. So we got the core, which is Triforce, Wits End, Black Cleaver. So people ask me like, oh, if they're all AD, do I still go Wits End? My answer to that is if they're literally all AD, they have no AP scalings, then you can look for alternative, maybe like Bork or Kraken. But I think those scenarios are so rare, and even if they have 5 AD, but they have some AP scalings, I would still go Wits End. It just synergizes so well with this build, giving you the extra on hit and the extra movement speed provided with Triforce and Black Cleaver, and all these 3 items synergize really well. So moving on to your 4, 5, 6 items, my personal favorite is going Sterix 4th into Titanic. This build is by far, in my opinion, super fucking OP. 460 AD, 4.5k HP, good amount of resistances, a lot of tenacity, and then you can go Iron Pot or Red Pot. I think both are good. If you don't want to go these 4, 5, it's situational, right? And then 6, you can always sell boots with this build because you have so much movement speed from all these items. So you can always sell your boots for Ruinants. But other items you can go for is like Bork, more Reminder, if they have tanks or you need heal cut, shit like this. If you need extra MR against like heavy AP comps, you can go Maw. And if you need a bit more extra armor, you can go Randuin's plus GA. So for boost choice, in my opinion, 99.999% of the games, you should either go Tab Eyes and Merc Treads. Most of the time, I feel like you should go Tab Eyes because you already have the extra MR that you get from Wits End. So you kind of want to balance out your resistances, right? But if they are really AP heavy or they have a lot of unavoidable CC, you can go Merc Treads. So if they have like a Mumu QR CC that's very annoying for you to get your R off and it's very unavoidable, you want to get this Merc Treads to get the extra tenacity so it's more playable. If you are looking to get Wits End plus Merc Treads and they still have a lot of AD, I would recommend going like your 4th and 5th item. You can look to go Randuin's, so you do get some armor. That's it for the items. Let's go into the runes. So these are my favorite runes to run on Kindred personally. This you can run probably 99.99% of your games. Conquer, in my opinion, the best keystone, well balanced throughout the entire game, has the highest win rate. Triumph, Alacrity, Last Stand, obviously. Last Stand just always will do more damage than Coup de Grace, and because my build gets so much HP, you don't really want to go cut down. And then secondary, you can also look to go Tenacity or Bloodline, but I don't like it at all. Tenacity you can look to go into. I don't think it's that bad if they have a lot of CC. But most of the time, I think the extra attack speed you get from Alacrity is worth it. And Bloodline, I just don't go Bloodline, honestly. And for your secondary runes, you can go Eyeball plus Relentless. In my opinion, this is the best. Eyeball will always be better than Sudden Impact late game. And Relentless is really nice for my playstyle. I like to play heavy marks and I like to play running around the map a lot. So I think these 2 runes are very, very good for Kindred. People ask me like, oh, what about Sudden Impact? I think Sudden Impact is very strong early game, but once it crosses like 10 minutes, once Eyeball stacked a little bit, Relentless gets some stacks, these will always outvalue. I see some people go Inspiration secondary, either this, or Boots and Cosmic. So these are like another option that you can do. In my opinion, not that fucking good. I really like Relentless. Being able to get this marks, being able to snowball and getting this extra movement speed, so you can get marks early easier, you can gank lanes easier, and Relentless is just really good on Kindred in my opinion. Extra movement speed lets me chase down people, etc. So I think this is probably best in my opinion. You can also look to go PTA. Again, I don't recommend it. So let's move into how to clear on Kindred and what Kindred clears you can do. I'm going to show you how to full clear starting red and starting blue. So it's very simple, but you guys want to be really watching this and learning this because I see a lot of Kindreds clear it improperly, which leads them to be a lot lower HP. So firstly, for starting red buff, you kind of want to be cutting this out. Just cut this out as much as possible. Cut this down, cut this down. Auto, auto, auto. Now for Krugs, this is what you want to do. You want to pull this Krugs all the way out here to Narnia. This is what I like to call it. And then you queue back up like here. You want to be just cutting this as much as possible, and then you queue out like here. And then you just auto like this. And then for Raptors here, you want to auto this and you want to queue to the right. And you want to play with this wall. So you auto this, queue to the right. You want to play with this wall and just kiting it as much as possible. Okay, I obviously trolled my clear, but in a regular game, you just queue over this. But it's still fine, like this is just kite. And after your Raptors, you should be close to, if not full HP. I kind of messed up, but it's okay. So Wolves here, you want to auto QW like this, and then you want to walk through this wall. You want to queue over this wall, and you want to E when it's about 700 HP. And you want to queue over this wall. Now for this, you just queue all this. Then you just kite the blue buff, same as usual. I like to kite it down here, personally. And then you can play with this wall. Okay. I failed the wall hop, but you understand the point. Then for blue buff, it's just simple kiting. You just kite it up a little bit. Just trying to min-max the amount of damage you take. And then you should clear around 325-ish. Alright. Now I'll show you guys the blue side clear. So for blue buff, you want to just auto this. You want to kite it up. You just want to kite this. Pretty easy, pretty simple. And Gromp, you just want to kite this up initially, like this. And you see how it's not autoing me, right? I'm using my W slow to make sure I min-max the amount of damage I take. Okay, cut this down. And with this, you want to play with the walls again. Same thing like red side. You want to queue like this, and you queue over like this. Just auto the big wolf. Then you want to auto each small wolf one time. Okay, doesn't matter. I messed up. Not a big deal. Okay, so for Raptors, you want to just auto this. Just kite. Kite. You want to use your W slow as much as possible. Min-max the amount of time they auto you. And then you want to spread out your autos. To min-max your jungle pet. And then here, you want to make sure you E first. E, because you get 2 E rotations, right? So you want to throw your E like this. And then you get another E rotation. Then same thing. You want to kite this to Narnia. And after this, you should be full HP. So kite this to Narnia. Also, I forgot to mention this, but in your first clear, you want to be making sure you're spamming your Q off CD. Because the thing is, her QW timings are very tight. So when you have level 1 Q, you want to be spamming that off CD so you get 3 basically resets. Alright, so let's discuss some early game pathings that you can do on Kindred. If you're looking for an early game invade, most of the time I'll be doing is red, Krugs, Raptors. So you can do all these camps and then it gives you a window to either invade their blue buff, let's say. So they're pathing down, you can invade their blue buff. Or you can walk from here and invade their red buff. This is the most common Kindred pathing you can do if you're looking for an early game invade. Another pathing that you can do is you can do blue, let's say you're starting blue, you can do blue, Gromp, wolves, red, and then you can look for a bot side invade. This, in my opinion though, is inferior because it doesn't give you more options to invade. It only lets you invade the blue buff. So if you're looking for an early game invade, I recommend starting red buff, doing Krugs into Raptors, and then you decide from there. If you have early vision wards, you can see where they started and what buff they'll be at, and then you can look to invade their buff that they will be at. Let's talk about Kindred marks. So when you have 0 marks, the only thing that your mark can spawn on is either one of the crabs. This will be completely 50-50 between the top crab or bot crab. Or when you have actually 1, 2, 3 marks, it can either spawn on crab, both crabs, right? Or it can spawn on raptor or gromp. So when you have 4 to 7 marks, it can spawn on red, Krugs, blue, and wolves. So that's for 4 to 7 marks. And when you have 8+ marks, it will only spawn on either one of the neutrals. So how you guys can see me consistently getting my marks is that I am good at jungle tracking. So I know what camps are up, how much marks I have, what marks it can spawn on. So let's say you have 1 mark and you know that his raptors is down. Then you know, and both crabs are down. So you know it only can spawn on Gromp, right? And how I can actually perfect this even further is you guys see me predicting, oh, when will this mark spawn? So this is quite simple actually. So after a mark camp is killed, let's say this is killed, right? the next mark will spawn in 45 seconds, right? So I kill this mark, I get 1 mark. It only can spawn on Raptors and Gromp in 45 seconds. Furthermore, let's say you know Raptors is gone, you kill this mark, you get 1 mark. You know that, okay, I just kill this, in 45 seconds, it will spawn on Gromp. Alright, so this is actually a trick that I don't see many Kindred players doing, is that you can actually mark while in combat, right? So you see how I auto this, and it looks like, oh, this disappeared. That means you can't mark somebody, right? But actually, you can mark people in combat using your Shift F1 through F5 keys. So your Shift F1 through F5 keys just correlates with this, right? So Shift F1 and F1 will be this, Shift F2 will be this, Shift F3 will be this, Shift F4 will be this, etc., right? So you can abuse this by marking in combat, right? So after you kill your first mark, which is Shift F1, right? Let's say this is the top laner and this is a jungler. After you kill the top laner, then you can change your mark to F2. And this is where you can actually get 2 marks in 1 fight. I don't know if it's a bug, but something I recently learned, and it's super useful. You can mark in combat, which applies like, oh, right after you kill someone, you can mark someone immediately right away, so you have less time on your passive. Stuff like this is very useful. Another quick trick for his passive is that, you see how when I mark someone, it dings to 75? His passive takes 8 seconds to mark. So a cool trick you can do is, as soon as it takes to 67, you can kill them, claiming your mark. Now I will be explaining to you guys some Kindred combos that you can do in your solo queue games. So a lot of Kindreds I see doing wrong is they use their E willy-nilly, right? You have to keep in mind that your E executes between below 25% HP. So if you're close with them, you want to use it when right here, right? When they're going to be below 25% HP to execute. You don't want to be using your E just as a slow unless they're running away. You can also use this to your advantage by, let's say you think the duel is really close, right? You're fighting them, you think the duel is really close, but you have more burst than them. So you use your R, then you use your E, let's say you're 20% HP, and you will win this exchange because you have more burst than them with your E. So Kindred marks spike at 4, and then every 3 after. But your first 4 marks are very important. In concerns to Kindred marks, you really want to be playing for Kindred marks throughout the game, because unlike Gold, where you can get in a short period of time, Kindred marks is something you have to build throughout the game. So try to focus on getting a lot of Kindred marks early game. Alright, so let's talk about Kindred and what she's good into. So, in my opinion, good Kindred matchups are matchups like Udyr. So champions that don't have much CC are very melee, and you can abuse them super easily, right? They don't have much CC, you can just kill them. Hard matchups for Kindred are champions like Xin Zhao, Kha'Zix, Gragas, Poppy, champions that kind of deny her mobility, deny her ulti, and these are the type of champions that she's bad into. But in my opinion, a lot of Kindred matchups in the jungle are not that bad. Typically, Kindred is good into comps that have low CC that can't restrict her mobility. So champions that can't force her ulti really easily or chain CC her into not being able to press ulti. Champions that like are hard for her are champions like Syndra, Malphite, champions that just one-shot her before she can get her ulti down. Alright guys, that's it for the Kindred guide. If you have any further questions, please leave them in the comments below, because obviously I didn't cover everything, so I'll be answering additional questions there. Please leave a like and subscribe. I'm so sorry for my editor. Okay. You can use your E outside your R like this, and then you can actually beat them, right? So using this E, you'll have more burst than them, which will kill them. Switch gear. Oh, fuck! Okay, time to restart. Typically, Kindred is good into comps that have low Typically, Kindred have... Now I will be answering some chat from the questions, so please... Guys, shut up! I'm just not good at scripting like, and shit. So, like, I try to go off the dome, but I'm not good at going off the dome, too. Like, it's fucked up. Okay, where the fuck is restart game?
I wish we stayed the same. I got way too many thoughts in my brain. I got memories that run through my veins. I'm not one to blame, but I could point out every way that you changed. Some things stay up while others go.